There we are. Good morning, everybody. We're on the dot, 3 minutes late, which is 3 minutes too late, but on the dot. Welcome to the mentfx Private Mentorship. What's up, guys? Beautiful. So, let's start the screen share first of all. And let's not keep all that stuff in your way. Good morning to a lot of traders here. Good evening to you, Timo from Europe. Amazing to hear it. Hope you're having a very nice evening today. What a beauty. A beauty of a week. Unbelievable. Unbelievable action. Pure beauty in terms of action. A lot of amazing executions from the team, from people in the trade talks. It's been so crazy cool to see it. I have a number of things I kind of want to discuss in tandem with the recent action that we've seen. So I'm looking very forward to just talking with you guys today. First of all, welcome to the mentfx Private Mentorship. This is webinar 199. Just saying that so I know which one it is as I upload it and stuff. But welcome, guys. I'm really happy to have everybody here. Hope you're all doing very well. Good to see a number of familiar faces, and I'd like to welcome anybody that's brand new or seeing this for the first time or has just found their way into the team and has started making their way and progressing through the course or the material and starting to actually get what I like to call a real awakening to what it looks like to, quote unquote, trade in the markets or to do this for yourself in the markets, right? The philosophy here at mentfx has always been different from that of which you consume in many other areas. Inside of this area, it's very likely that you will very quickly discover that having a profitable system in quotation marks, is a lot easier than many people let on. It's just that you've never had a process by which you can actually do it. And now that you have the process by which you can do it, the simplicity by which you can find a profitable system, you basically start to understand that there are simple things that you can do right now to have profitability, even if it doesn't mean that you have extensive profitability, okay? What I mean by this is I just want to start by talking about one quick comment. And this actually came from webinar 196 or something, so I'm going to go and try to find it. Webinar 196, yeah. So from webinar 196, I'm just going to pause this. I'm not going to play it. But from webinar 196, where we broke down, as I like to say, a very simple trade plan, right? Something that I did in this video and something that you'll see me do in the course and something that you're going to learn from in the course is that if you allow yourself to start in a simple place with a simple way to make something, you are likely going to do a lot better than instantly skipping to complexity or trading as much action as you can or trading any and all action on any given time frame 24/7 just trying to fucking nail the trades, right? Think about this in the form of like, if you guys have ever watched a cooking show, right? I don't know if you guys have, but if you've ever seen a cooking show, you know, these chefs are crazy. They're like, make me pancakes. And they're like, what I have for you here is a gold flakes encrusted pancake where I perfectly put in the sauce in a way where I cooked it for exactly 16 minutes and a half, and then the gold flakes, you ate up the dough around it, and now you have this beauty. And you're looking at it like, holy shit, right? And then if your mom makes you pancakes the next day, you're like, this is the best shit I've ever tasted. Right? The point being is that you can have a simple recipe and it can still be phenomenal. And a lot of trading has come down to basically that. A lot of people see the gold crust infused pancakes that takes, 30,000 iterations of pancake making to achieve and think that that's exactly where they need to be a professional cook or to be a chef or to make a dinner or a breakfast. I don't know who's eating pancakes for dinner, right? To be a chef where you make something that is good, that the whole family enjoys, that you can truly reward yourself off of and fill yourself off of, right? This is the rule of 50 trades being up 1R, as you learn in the course material. A lot of you, if you follow this rule and literally look for a system that gets you to this rule right here, which is after 50 trades, I want to be up 1R, And literally, if I'm making more R than that, I want to reduce. If you just follow that rule and simplify your system, you're going to have a more profitable system than almost anyone around you, first of all, and you're going to have a ton of confidence behind it, right? So similarly, if you try to make the golden crusted pancakes, when you first start out, you are going to screw yourself. You are going to be confused. You are going to get it wrong. You are going to get the heat wrong. The time you're spending on the plate wrong. All of that's going to be wrong. But if you start somewhere simple, you're going to have an end result that everyone can enjoy, that you can reap the benefits of, and it's going to work. Similarly, this right here is your mom's pancakes, okay? You can have a system that is stupid fucking simple, where you do very, very little, where you take less trades than you could even imagine you would have taken, where you've watched a video on trading before, and you saw all this crazy shit that you can do, but yet you show up every day doing the very, very minimal, taking one trade that makes a trade plan worthwhile, where it becomes a break even or a loss most of the time, and then maybe becomes a win. And if you just do that, you have your mommy's pancakes that are amazing, that fill you, that you can reap the rewards of, and you end up making RR out of it. That's quite literally it, right? So the philosophy here has always been to give you every tool you need, but if you allow yourself to start simply, you'll find profitability a lot quicker. Now, this goes in tandem to what my man here said, Jazz Isa. I don't know exactly the name from the Discord, but I've seen you around a ton. I see you're commenting, so I know this is a longer term member. But he basically said the few lines Anton said is and has been my and most of your guys' end goal, right? So what's interesting is if you sit with yourself subconsciously and ask yourself what your end goal of trading actually is at the moment, right? A lot of you will say the end goal is to live off trading, to be full-time trading, to own XYZ if you're looking for materialistic things, whatever it might be. But the reality, if you boil every single want that you have from the trading space or from this skill set down, it all boils down to one end goal, right? And that end goal in the moment should actually be, I want to have a positive return on the capital that I put in. If I put in $10, after a year, I want that $10 to be increased. If I put in $1,000, after a year, I want that money to be increased. If I put in $5,000, after a year, I want that money to be increased. If I put in $100,000, after a year, I want that money to be increased. If I put in $1 million, after, keep going based on what your net worth is, what your relativity is, right? That is it. That is your end goal. And that end goal is achieved through a simple pancake mix. Right? If you allow yourself to actually make simple pancakes, then you can achieve that end goal much quicker than anyone else will ever find profitability. And even if you spent a lot of time in this industry, you can achieve that end goal a lot quicker than even the time that you spent before learning how to do this. Okay? Because this puts you in a place, remember, if you can do 50 trades and be up 1R, literally from the mentfx portal, from the Ment portal, the one you guys are all working through and have seen, if you and this equity curve right here is created from the portal material using a system that I don't even trade. This is using a butt-ass, dumb, simple system where all you're doing, as I walk through in webinar 196, as an example with this trade, would be buy stopping an MMB1 of a higher time frame with a big stop and just looking for a 1 to 2 RR, and we're managing like into that kind of effect. This is the equity curve that came from that. You can look at this right-hand side, right? This came from a simplified rule, simple rules, stupid simple, where you can't fuck it up almost, right? If you've given yourself the time to do it, getting a call, right? If you've simplified your system enough, you've locked yourself into what I like to call an unfair advantage, where everything that you're doing is so stupid simple that you can't see anything else. You're like, okay, the rule is either met or it's not. I take the trade and that's it. This equity curve is created from that simplification. Now, you guys know in the portal, we talk exactly about how to make the simplification happen. How do you almost scale back things? How do you reduce opportunities? How do you make it as dumb simple as you can to the point where after 50 trades, I'm up 1R. Now, it does become the case that after 50 to 100 trades here, where I should be only up 2R, it ended up being over 110R up. That is an insane result. This puts me over 100 or 50 to 100x what I actually want to achieve from trading. My end goal in terms of profitability from a subconscious boiled down understanding is to have this number be a 2. That's it. That's what your end goal should be right now. That's how you should be considering and thinking about your own progression. Remember, 90% of people that are failing in this market, 90%, have not achieved a 2R guarantee after 100 plus trades. Remember that. Or they don't even have 100 trades that they can look to realistically to see that. Most of your own understanding in trading, most of your own progression, most of your own profitability that's ever going to come from trading comes directly from that understanding. That's it, right? It's crazy to think about. Understanding or profitability doesn't come from, hey guys, here's an indicator, and if you use this indicator, you're going to make money. Hey guys, look at this trade. If you take that trade, you're going to make money, right? Hey guys, I'm taking this trade. You should take it too. You're going to make money. That's not where money making comes from. It doesn't come from special branch of insane indicators or entries. It simply comes from the initial understanding that you have outperformed 90% of people in the entire market that have traded, that are even putting millions up to billions of dollars into the market. You've outperformed them all by meeting a 50 to 100 trade rule where you're up 1 to 2 RR. And if you focus on that, you guarantee that you're likely going to even be up more R, which means you have now basically evolved to being a superhuman. You are quite literally he who got bit by the spider in Spider-Man, right? You are the person that has completely changed his own life and perception of trading. But the only way that you start to achieve that is by recognizing that it's not about your starting balance or how much money you made on that starting balance. Instead, it's about having a positive R secured. Because again, and I've spoken about this time and time again, but if your starting balance is $100, $1,000, $5,000, and you turn that into 10K or 2K after a year, you have outperformed an unbelievable amount of subset of traders. An unbelievable. You've made over 100% on your money, and you can do that per year, right? That is an absurd return. I know when I look at this that I'm having absurd and very, very profitable returns. I know 200%, around 200%, a little bit more, a little bit less, because not every trade is actually 1R exact, or in terms of 1% or 0.5% risk, right? I know this is an insane return. But again, this return on a $5,000 account, right? Well, for a lot of people, let's let it load up really quick. For a lot of people, they would throw out this exact system in front of you. So this system that you see in front of you, they would throw it out because for them, especially if you're like in the US, let's say, making 10K in a year from showing up every single day, every single week, every single month to repeat a process of taking things for the purpose of taking mostly losses and break evens, right, doesn't make sense. Why the fuck would I show up to make 10K for this? It's like, I need at least 100K. Well, okay, to make at least 100K, you need to be at a starting balance of maybe 75K, where you have access to the full 75K so you can make your 0.5%. And now you're talking about returning around 140K on your money in about a year or in about a year and a half, right? So there's this huge misunderstanding in trading where you hear 50 trades up 1R, 100 trades up 2R. Okay, I got it, Anton. I got it, Ment. Thank you so much. Now I know what to look for. Okay, it's profitable. Okay, I could put this into profitability right now, but wait. If I'm on my funded account and I'm risking this much, then I'm only looking at making, what, $220 every single month at the moment. It's not worth it. I need to find the better system. I need to find the better entries. I need to find the way that's going to transform my account in a way that I've never experienced before. And it's like, you've just put yourself back into the 90%. You've just guaranteed that it's going to take you longer. You've just ran yourself back into a circle. And of course, the next step in your own trading journey is going to be, holy shit, why, when I go live, am I taking things that I shouldn't be taking? Why is my trading all over the place? Why is my backtesting showing this insane thing and my live can't do anything like that? Well, it's like, you chose not to simplify. right? And with your current state of experience and confidence, you are now complexifying the system because you want to make more money right now because 1R or 2R over 100 trades or even 200R over a year on your 10K, 5K account is not worth it for you. So you've done everything in your power to now stop yourself from profitability and move to executing basically randomness, right? And as we all know, you execute random trades in random areas, you get random results, right? Because the more things you try to take, the more random results you're going to get. It's guaranteed, okay? Now, this leads me into a direct discussion I wanted to have today with a lot of you, okay? And that is kind of looking at some of the action that's been happening recently, which has just been so fucking beautiful. This is unbelievable. And I think it's so cool, and you guys have seen it firsthand, that we've literally predicted this entire move, for the most part. Like, of course, we're always going to end up predicting moves because it's just a cycle. It's just momentum at the end of the day. And like, if it's happening, it's happening, and we know what to look for. And if it's happening, then great, we're going to be a part of it, right? But this has been the most beautiful thing ever. And this goes like this right here. The reason that I want to talk about this specifically is because this goes hand in hand with what we spoke about in this webinar 196 right here, where, let me reiterate this again, a simple, stupid system like this, where simply you take a long through like an MMB1, put a stop under and take it, right? If you do something, let me pause this. If you do that, you can see that even after on a higher time frame where your E is a 60-minute, right? So think about EVC, think back to the portal, think back to thinking about the ratios. So you guys all know what I'm talking about when I say the E is a 60-minute. And if you're new and you don't know what the fuck that means, do not worry. You are in the right spot. You should be showing up to these. You should be confused because as you walk through the portal, everything will make sense. And even if I upload this video publicly, then all of you know that I've taught EVC publicly on YouTube as well. So you can go and find those ratios and those understandings, and it's all embedded there. But if you have a dumb, simple system like that, where you simply buy stop the MMB1 and you follow it like that, right? I showed you guys that kind of system would lead to maybe 2R, 3R, 10R. I think it was 10R over a year, right? Now, that's with a stupid simple system where you're buy stopping an MMB1 only, big ass stop, higher time frame, let it deliver 1 to 2. Do you guys remember what this put us up after about like a year of action on just gold? Does anyone remember? Or like on just NASDAQ or something? It put us up around, it was 10R, just so you guys know, 10R. And also, by the way, for questions, I'm gonna go over questions as well. So you guys are free to write them. I will go through everything. But I really want to talk about a few things today because I had a little plan for what I wanted to discuss. Okay. Love a bit of NQ for me. So basically this exact test right here in front of you, where we just we plotted the MMB1 buy stops, led to about, the 2R gains per win, some break even, some losses, and overall led to like 10R over a year. Now, is 10R over a year good? Let me just start there. Is 10R over a year good? It's exceptional. Now, for it might not be exceptional in your own mind, which is perfectly fine. So Michael again says depends on capital, but that's not even true, right? Because no, it's just good, right? This is exactly where, so even from Michael Taylor here, right? This is exactly where most people in trading completely go off the boat, right? Because it's like, if I don't have enough capital, then it's not worth my time to trade a system that's profitable, which puts me ahead of 90% of people that have been doing this for even 4 to 5 to 10 years, right? It's like, where is your mind, right? And Quickly said you got to be patient and compound. You're completely correct, right? It's not even that. You don't have to compound your 1K account into 1 million. If anything, you can literally compound your own time through anything else in the world and siphon that into your trading because your trading now has a positive return on your money, right? There's a cycle to returning money on the money now that you're putting in. That can be through funded valuations. That could be doing other things in the world that you've literally spent your entire life building so that now you can put that money into trading, right? Now, if a lot of you go to either your parents or your own retirement accounts, because I'm assuming a lot of your parents have retirement accounts of some sort, or you have a retirement account or whatever it might be, you guys need to understand that a lot of the time when you put money into a retirement account or into NASDAQ or something like that, you are on average returning 8 to 10% per year based on prior action on SP 500, SPY, US 100, NASDAQ, QQQ, whatever you want to call it, right? So people literally bet their lives, okay, on a potential 8 to 10% a year, and they take this bet over like 60, 70, 80 years, right? 40, 50, 60 years. Now, if you don't fall under that, that's just something to understand, that people bet pretty much their entire life savings and their lives on around an 8 to 10% return in the overall market. Now, why is that important? Well, that's important because the people taking those bets on their capital, okay, and again, you don't have to think about it as bets, but I'm explaining it that way, right, are the same people that are also willing to, one, get that return, but also willing to sacrifice the potential of what? Drawdown. The reason this is such a beautiful time to speak about what I want to talk about is because anyone that's now invested is experiencing an over 20% drawdown in their retirement accounts, in their accounts where they're depositing into this thing every week, like especially if they started buying up here, which a lot of people did because new highs, people buy in. There are people down 22% at the moment on their retirement accounts. That is the drawdown they are willing to endure for an 8 to 10% on average return yearly. Okay, on average. I really want this to seep into your subconscious and understanding because in the last webinar, or in the last few webinars, we've spoken about systems that completely protect your downside when the market goes into corrections or has big flushes or has flushes that are unprecedented. You have a system that will make you money as it delivers and keep you out when you're wrong. That's a very powerful thing. And that's because you get to, as I like to say, you get to maintain your bottom line, you get to minimize your bottom line, and at the same time, because you're minimizing your bottom line and you're not even in the trade, you actually have that capital available to be executed somewhere else. You can literally put that capital to work on another stock, on another crypto, on another Forex pair, on another future pair, on another fucking who cares what kind of pair. It's all available. That money is available to be put to work. Because all we're doing as traders, as all of you know, is we're taking capital that we have of any sort, and we're putting it directly to work right now to return money on that money. Which means, of course, if we think back to, if you can allow yourself to think in terms of a simplified rule and a simplified rule set, you are making an unbelievable amount of money while maintaining the low end versus what else is available in the space, right? So you've already outperformed everyone already. So the beginning of this webinar today is to recognize and just remember, really let this seep into your subconscious, which is if you boil down your own end goal in trading, it always comes down to being positive in R. It's not turning 5K into 10K. It's not turning 10K into 100K. It's not turning 50K into 60K. It's not turning 50K into a million. That's not what trading is about. The second trading becomes about the monetary value increasing is the second everything blows up. It's the second everything becomes complicated, becomes very hard, gets in the way, becomes daunting. And the reason for that is because you are now guaranteeing that if you don't achieve those numbers that you're kind of putting your mind to, then you're doing something wrong and you need to change things to increase the amount you're making, or you're clearly in like the wrong spot. This is not how trading works. You guys need to recognize that very, very quickly and instead focus on things that actually make you money. The reason that you've seen so many unbelievably profitable traders come from this team over and over and over again, where they're like, oh shit, it worked for me. Oh shit, my equity curve is proving profitability. Oh shit, like everything is working. How is that happening? The reason you're seeing that is because of the philosophy by which we approach. One is the system, an understanding of how systems operate and markets operate and how they deliver. 2 is the tools that allow you to find that thing. 3 is understanding of proper risk. 4, 5, 6 is how you actually measure that data. And 7 is the execution of that data. People never get to like any of these. They don't even get to proper execution because they've skipped all the other parts. But you guys have all of that in motion, and you have the ways to simplify that to a point where, oh, that's what profitability means. Profitability doesn't mean that I have to return insert number % on my money, and I need to insert number that I want to get to, and I must get this number. right? That's not what trading has ever been about. And it's very important because, remember, there are people down 30%, 20% on their accounts right now, overall, on a bet they take over their lifetimes, where they hope that 8 to 10% returns positive happen over like 20 years. Remember that, right? And the people that, so have you guys ever worked with financial advisors that are like, listen guys, you have an option. Or they're on the phone, because I've worked with financial advisors, right? Because I have money and I need to put money to work in other ways, and I'm open to that. And they're like, all right, Anton, have you guys ever had this, by the way? Listen, you could do this like lower risk thing right here, maybe like 4%, 5%, or you could do this high yield saving thing. It could be like 10 to 15%. You know, there's a little bit more risk, but you know, over time it's proven. I'm always like, give me the low thing. Guaranteed, no risk. I just want to know that I'm returning money. But they do this, right? They're like, oh, you could do this. You guys want to know what a high yield, whatever basically thing is they just take either more things or just leverage versions, like TQQ. So other people just have their money in this. You can see, it's the same thing. It's still NASDAQ. It's still the same delivery. It's just more percentage different. You want to know the people that did the high yield return, you want to know what they're down now from the highs? Oh, they're down 56% on their capital right now. Right? That's it. Those same people were like, I want the higher return, more risk, it's okay. So what happened? Well, if they invested over all of these periods here, I buy and hold, I buy and hold, I buy and hold, I buy and hold, I buy and hold. Well, over time, they've made 250% on the initial positions, 100% on some of these. But no matter how much money they made right now, all that money is currently in a 56, almost 60% drawdown. And at the moment, nothing about this action is saying, I'm done. A lot of this action is pointing towards the same things that we talk about over and over and over again, which is the momentum cycle is present. The labels of that momentum cycle is present. Here, I'll put them up here so you can see them based on what I've been labeling. Everything is present. Everything that we've discussed week after week in this mentorship, the exact portal material that has been transferred to the realistic market, where I showed up every week to tell you guys, this is a bearish market. We are in a beautiful bearish market. We expect bearishness. Last week, what happened? I said, we are still bearish. I expect this to deliver short. What did I tell you? If a stage 2 begins to occur, if we get below these lows, just continue shorting. If you're a lower time frame trader, look for shorts. If you're a higher time frame trader, look for shorts where things make sense. Guess what I took last week? A short. Now, for me personally, this short did not play out. You can see I literally took a break even on it. But even then, that's great for me, right? Took this sell stop through this overall low right here. Literally broke even on it, like down here or down here. I think I broke even on it here. And just took a break even when it came back. Okay, it's all good. It doesn't really matter. But the point is, every single week, we've shown up and I've discussed this. I said, guys, this is a market that's short. We are in a momentum cycle that's bearish. We have moved through multiple distribution MBs. And look at this. This thing is only in MMB1 of the weekly. There is nothing about this that's saying we can't have 2 weeks of sideways now, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and continuation lower. There's nothing stopping this exact thing from happening at the moment. Nothing stopping that. So you're going to have people, quite literally, just to explain this, right? You're going to have people down 68%, 70%. And guess what? All of the online YouTube space, I don't even know. Like, can we even find this? All of the online people space, if we watch any of this, is going to be the same thing. Everything's at a discount. You should start buying good things. Value is here. It's like, dude, it's the same problem on repeat. It's like, nothing has changed. Right? We're doing well. You can keep buying. We're kind of dipping. Look for value and buy. We're doing well. Keep buying. It's kind of dipping. Look for buy. Keep buying. Guys, I'm literally, this is Bloomberg right now. This is Bloomberg 1,000% of the time. We're having a dip. Start looking to, we're melting even more. Look for buys. Oh, it's gonna bullish rally. We're starting a new buy the dip. It's still creating value. It's like, okay, you're down 60% on your capital. And now you're reaching out and wondering, what the fuck do I do? It's like, well, dude, this is how trading works. If you do not understand the way that a cycle operates, you are fucking yourself. If you are a buy and hold, that's fine, but you are not a trader then. Go and buy and hold and sit back and let it do the thing, right? Just let it do the fucking thing. Don't touch it. But if you're trading, then, you know, you're eating shit. And I think it's beautiful because, remember, guys, and I'd love for the members here to like specify this, especially if I make this video like public or something. When did we start talking about the shorts and the potential short delivery and momentum cycle on this? You know, I'll give you guys some dates. Was it on the around 25th of February? Was it around the 27th of February? Was it around the Monday 10th of March? Was it around the 31st of March? Was it around the 4th of April now where I'm like, oh, it's bearish, guys. It's definitely bearish, right? At what point was it? 25, 27. Yep. Thank you. 25th, 27th of February. Why? Price went from a bullish momentum cycle, from a higher time frame context momentum cycle, everything that was showing what? This delivery. And what was I doing during this time? That's right. Right here, I was still looking for longs, but a lot of things started to break down. Interesting. I even think I took a break even or something on some markets. Price broke down. Okay, nothing to fret about. Could be a reaccumulation. Okay, another one. Okay, another one. Clearly losing all averages. Clearly from one side to the next. Distribution, very likely. Weekly is now taking time and going sideways. Very likely we've entered a momentum cycle to the short side. MMB1. Right here is where everything became very clear. Literally as this low got taken out. So that stage 2 began, right? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2. Exactly from the portal material. So this is what's cool. If you're new here, by the way, it's okay to be confused when I'm doing all this. But if you're new and you're working through the material, everything I just said right here is starting to make sense. If you've worked through the entire material, everything I just said is just clear as day, even if you didn't see it yourself, right? So that's what's really cool about this material that you're here. When you can see it, those lines aren't even in the way. Yeah, literally. Like it's all there. Everything is just clear, right? If you like Bees, I know my man Bees here has been here for a while, like a good time. And I know he's done the work. I know he's seen everything very likely, or is in the process of literally completing everything that's recent and has recorded his data. Like I know he is in a spot where he can look at this and be like, yeah, everything makes sense. Everything's in line with what I've learned. Everything's just there. And that's a very powerful thing. But this is exactly where we got truly short, or like this is a short market, truly. Those momentum cycles started delivering. What happened here? You don't know how many videos I saw during this time. Bullish pullback, we're getting the pop. Look for the, you don't know how many videos online were starting to get released like that. And do you guys remember what I spoke about here on the Sunday when this happened? Does anyone remember? I literally labeled this and said, guys, this looks like it's setting up a momentum MB on the context time frame, which means what? We should go through a short-term accumulation for the purpose of redistribution. And right here, I saw an unbelievable amount of people in our team shorting the market on the 26th of March, 27th, 28th. They caught this entire leg. And then again, people started shorting here too. They tried to, but it had normal long days because we just had a natural MMB pullback. MMB1 of this distribution MB. And holy shit, this is the most recent week, right? From Monday to Friday. This was unbelievable. Now, is it really unbelievable? No, because if you look to the left, everything that's ever happened either on the downside or the upside is the same move. There's nothing special about it, right? The only special thing is that now it's happening live. It's always happening live, but now we're doing it live, and you're quite literally experiencing and seeing the world and how it reacts and how traders react and how traders think in regards to what's happening right now. People are losing a ton of capital. Now, again, it's not like funny. I'm not trying to like point fun at or say, haha, you're losing capital. But I want to make it really clear that people are losing capital. The same thing is happening as always. People are in 50% drawdowns, 60% drawdowns, 20% drawdowns on their capital that they had in this through retirement, through whatever it is, or through investing, whatever it is. And they're scared. And that's naturally so. Because, well, if they're buy and holding and they don't understand how they're buy and holding or what buy and holding means, they're fucked. And if they're traders and they're trying to trade this and they're like, why is nothing working? Why am I'm trying to get the bullish pullback? Why isn't it happening? Well, I'm trying to, like, every single day that I'm on, you know, I learned from my mentor that I need to target the high, but it's not coming. Target the high for the liquidity, so I go, but it's not happening. It's like, what's going on? Why isn't it happening? It's like, well, the market has shown you a very clear set delivery at the moment, and that's a delivery that's happening. Right? And even this delivery has literally put me in a situation where I'm looking at markets to short. I'll show you guys. Look at this weakness. I've been watching markets to short. I want to short this. I tried to short it. I just didn't get a trade. Like, I even considered taking these trades right here. These ones. So that's the E micro entries off of this floating demand right here. I'll even label that. So this is the floating demand. Now, again, if you've seen the course, you know what this means. Very easy. It's taught as the floating supply in the course because it's flipped. So it's taught from this point of view, where, you know, price makes an MMB, those containment lines, above is the floating supply, and as the containment lines get taken out, floating supply truly wants to get ran, and setups will happen at any of these points or a little bit higher. And that's exactly what happened here, right? So I've been looking for trades just like this, because this is exactly what I look for. You have the floating demand setup. You can see this was the double MB right here, but it was hard to trade because it just gapped, so I missed that. And I really did consider taking this, I just didn't. You know, that's just my own problem or whatever, but I just didn't take this. Beautiful trade, beautiful trade. Both of these would have worked out and delivered an insane, like, you can think about this sell. I'd probably have my stop kind of behind these MAs right here. Yeah, I mean, this would have been up 11R in one day, right? And you can see the percentage actual stop loss of this is 1.24%. So putting 0.5% of risk on this was very easy. Same thing with this one. I take this, stop would probably be somewhere above here, like that, very likely. And I'd break even probably somewhere inside of this action right here. And, you know, you're talking about being up 7.93R in less than a day, right? So again, these are things I missed, but you can see on my watch list now, what you'll see in my watch list is pretty much anything that's been showing true weakness after true strength, right? Because it's now breaking down. Take a look at this. Same thing, same moves. Momentum cycles to the downside. Same things, same moves. I tried to short this. Let me show you. Literally sold this. Sold through, moved to break even around here, I believe, and just took a break even on it. Okay, whatever, nothing, you know, nothing special. And you're gonna see it's all the same stuff. Shows extreme weakness, just wants to fucking roll. CLS, this thing too, like, look at this. These all look like NASDAQ, right? And I'm just sitting there looking for shorts. And missing them, and just missing them, right? HIMS, this one was also really nice. Like, you can see, I even wanted to short here. Look at this. Guys, I'm an idiot. I screw things up all the time. Look at this, look at this trade. I missed like 40R in opportunities on just the stuff on this watch list. That's fucking crazy to think about. But at the same time, it's so powerful because on another end, I'm like, this happens every single month, every single year. There are months in every single year that provide this over and over again. There's nothing special, there's nothing new. And even now, you guys have all seen it, there are endless videos about people thinking this is like some new thing, everything is fucked, everything is crazy. It's like, no, we've entered a momentum cycle and it's delivering, right? That's it. We're in MMB1. What's the likelihood of this? I mean, this has made a crazy move, so maybe we have a bigger like redistribution correction, but very likely we go through another sideways, let the 10 catch up, right? Maybe it stops on the 5 or touches the 5 and has another leg before then going into potential sideways for the purpose of redistribution again, or for the purpose of finally accumulating. And once that's decided, well, that's going to be very simple. I'm going to just trade the direction that the market is overall starting to demonstrate. But at the moment, everything is basically just telling you what it wants to do, right? And also that whole correction here could just be part of, you know, this. Nothing's stopping this from happening, right? There's nothing stopping this market from going down to 30% in drawdown. There's nothing stopping the leverage version of it, the one that people get their high yield returns on. There's nothing stopping this from going into like, you know, if we think about this, like, there's nothing stopping this from like, you know, coming down to an overall 60 to 80% of drawdown. Nothing's stopping that, right? This is what a lot of people don't understand. Like, and if that happens, like, your yearly return now on this thing, no matter what, has been cut to what? Like, again, if you were born in 1900s, let me just do it this way, 1990s or whatever, 1990 something, right? If you were born back in, let's go to the weekly. Right, if you were born like back in the 1999s or whatever, oh wow, it's so far back. Right, if you were like born all the way back here and you just started investing in the market normally, like you're up a good amount. Look, you're up like 1,000%, 900%, whatever. So you're fine. But on the money that you're now up, right, at the moment, you're down about 20% of it. You're down almost a quarter of the money that you're up. That's a big, because remember, just because you're up 900% doesn't mean that a 20% drawdown doesn't mean anything. Because of, you know, if you make $1 million and that's up being like 1,000%, well, 20% down is down 250K, right? Like there's a big difference there. You're taking a true loss there, or if you close it, which hopefully people don't. Quickening says, I like Tesla for shorts. Let's look at the daily here. Yeah, this has been phenomenal short market. All the way from here, like people that, you know, this started showing a ton of weakness. Like you should be shorting this thing right here. Like this was the move. Look at this. And there's nothing new. Let me show you this, guys. Look at this move. What do you guys see? Does anyone see what I see? Guys, it's the portal material. It's happening. Like, look at this. Is there anything new about this move in front of you? Floating demand, containment lines. Overall market has truly demonstrated we are on the bearish side in momentum cycle, while the weekly has gone from a one-sided market to a distribution MB and started to break down. Does anyone that has seen the portal look at this and think, this makes no sense? Or do you look at this and go, holy shit, it's again the portal playing out, in this case, on the downside. The exact same thing that I learned. The exact same moves, the exact same MAs, the exact same stage 2s, the exact same flushes and the rules behind the flushes, the exact same containment lines and how they hold, the exact same breakdowns and MB setups, the exact same E micros that start to set up what? You guys want to see an E micro of this? This is why it's so powerful to go through the material. Ready? How does it happen? The E micro, look what happened, guys. Whoa! The E micro created sell stops above the floating demand, or right around the floating demand, that led to deliveries. Yvonne says, like someone told me, it's like cheating now. It is like cheating. This feels like cheating because once you understand it, you're equipped for any side of the market. Okay? And you're equipped to literally execute upon the things that come your way. Okay? So again, back to this. This has been an absolutely phenomenal market. This is phenomenal. And I've seen endless people here take advantage of this beauty. Okay? Especially on the lower time frames. Now also, I'm gonna quickly, what's it called? I'm going to quickly, oh, no, I'm not gonna quickly. Maybe I am. My images. Okay, it's not here. It's fine. Guys, futures is coming to Ment Funding very soon. That's all I'm saying. But a lot of you did so well on this. It's been amazing to see. And I wanna talk about something in regards to that right now. So again, we understand that, like, start everything that you're doing with some form of simplicity. It's so powerful. There's no reason that you shouldn't be simplifying your own systems. Okay? Can you talk more about, no, I'm not gonna talk about them right now. I'm not gonna talk about the futures right now. Just keep an eye on the website. That's all you gotta do. And I don't wanna turn this webinar into a sales call. It's like, that's not what we're doing right now. I just wanna offer as much value as possible at the moment. Okay? So first things first is that a lot of you have seen or are going through the portal and will see how these exact webinars and the things that are happening in the real time and before are all a part of the exact same move. The moves that I've been looking at, guys, like, I hope you understand there's nothing, like, look how unnew this stuff is. Ready? We're on the bullish side. What did I do here? I tried to trade it. I literally was trying to trade this. Nothing happened. Price broke down. This is when I was still bullish. Price broke down for distribution. Okay, it's in distribution. Okay, momentum MB. Look what happens. Sell off. What happens inside of here? The same thing we've spoken about time and time again. There's going to be a flush to the 10/20 or just 2, breakdown through E micros. Guys, supply validation never comes back. Delivery. There's nothing new to this market. This market has become the most boring thing ever if you've allowed yourself to understand how it functions. This market has done the same thing on repeat nonstop. Same thing this week. This is what I tried to play this week. This action, I just tried to play it on this. That's all that happened. I saw something, I was like, okay, this looks fine. I'll trade it. Here's your floating demand. And literally, this is what I took. And I just wanted, I was looking for that. That's it. Nothing's stopping this from happening. It didn't happen. I took a break even because, again, I have rules that protect my downside, and I just simply follow them. The exact same rules that I've worked through time and time again, the exact same rules that you've seen me execute over and over and over again for this exact equity curve, and every single trade that was taken of this equity curve, right, on my live, this is all the exact same thing. It's just, it's the same thing on repeat, right? And here we are. We're in a new drawdown. Holy shit, right? Like, wow. Unbelievable. Remember, if I didn't take this this big win, 11.4 R, imagine this was a break even. Does this still look like an equity curve any of you would follow, personally trade, personally equip a system with, right? I think it becomes very, very simple to understand what you would do in this scenario. So, this week, some really beautiful, beautiful things happened. The same thing I just discussed, which is that the same things play out over and over and over again, and we're quite literally seeing the same things play out over and over and over again, where it's almost boring, where you're seeing now people in drawdown losing always on each side of the market, not understanding why the fuck it's happening or what's going on. Let me go to the label part, to this exact delivery that's happening. A beautiful stage 2 this week. Again, a few days of nothingness. I saw a lot of people on the sidelines. Good. If you were on the sidelines, you made more money than people that weren't on the sidelines. A few people on the sidelines for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, the people that traded. That's it. That's it. You just got delivery into it, right? And here's NQ just to show you, because I know some of you are futures traders. It's the same thing, right? Some people sidelined during this time. Some people started trading on this day, which is not wrong. It's perfectly fine. If you traded on this day, then of course, as we all know, you might have taken some trades that were break even, some wins, or even a loss. Perfectly fine. All in part of trading. And Thursday, Friday. Now, this is what I want to bring up right now. And that is the rarity of moves. Because, and this will happen to everyone at some point, you are going to get onto a market. At some point, you're going to experience some insane thing like this. And what is the one thing that you're going to hear from people when you trade this kind of market and make a lot of money on it? What do you end up hearing from someone when, you make money on this? There's always one thing. Yes, you're lucky. This was a rare time, tariffs, news, whatever news is, whatever the stuff's happening. You don't understand. You can't do this consistently because, this move doesn't happen every day. And to that, I say you're right. It's actually true. But let's talk about rarity. So I have this thing that I wanted to bring up, and that is talking about, are moves actually rare? And the reason I bring this up is because Alicia had a phenomenal week. And it's really cool. Like, you guys should go back and read some of this, but I'm going to give you the general surface layer of this, okay? And that is that, so Alicia here, if I can find it, you know what? I'll just make it even better. From Alicia. Okay. So learn, very good. So much value offered this week, from just psychology to trades to everything. It's been so beautiful to see. Again, you can also notice what helped her. The exact stuff taught in the portal, so everything's the same there. Okay, beautiful. This is what I wanted to find. So Alicia had an insane fucking week. Okay? And in that insanity, if I can find it, yeah. So there we are. She took some shorts. Let me find if I can find the inverted. Yeah, here we go. So, boom. Phenomenal. Did amazing. Okay? And in this amazing doing, took 30R, I think, out of the market just this week. Now, it's very important because that's an insane number. That's a very cool number. And a lot of people look at that and are like, what the fuck? I want to remind everyone that she was in drawdown before this, okay? And I want to bring up a very specific message and talk about rarity for a second. So from that trade, you can see right here, load that up. Done for the day. Going to look through my trades during mid-March when I was in drawdown. So again, back in mid-March, 15 days ago, mid-March, she was in drawdown, or he was in drawdown. I think it's a she, based on the photo. If I could stay out during them times and preserve my capital, then it's even more of a GG's. So again, in this exact scenario, right, there's a recognition already, despite being now up in money, up in profit and everything, there's already a recognition that if simply there was more time spent sidelining, the money made would have been even higher. So the first thing about rare moves is that you'll make more money when you take your stage twos or make money in these times if you learn to preserve your capital during times where nothing's happening. Big part of trading is literally sidelining and waiting for the actual delivery, okay? Now, funny enough, I even asked because I wanted to instigate, not in a good way, right? Where basically she said, you know, done for the day, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know, how does it feel to have the exact same process be rewarded in the way that you experienced today? And I'm so glad that she answered this and spoke about it a little bit. And he said, honestly, I'm laughing my head off. During the 1 to 2 weeks, that means the 1 to 2 weeks, so 14 days before this day, before this Friday, 14 days before this, she was in weeks of drawdown. 2 weeks of drawdown, 3 weeks of drawdown, 4 weeks of drawdown. I was actually feeling quite low, thinking, why are they all losing? Breaking even. Where are my trades? And this was even after having winning weeks prior as well. So I really want to talk a little bit about the emotional aspect of trading right here. Because notice, this is a trader that has had winning weeks, had winning trades, seen firsthand that there will be winning times in the market, and yet, through only 14 days, 15 days, 16 days, 20 days, or even 30 days of natural drawdown, it was like, what the fuck's happening? Starting to feel lower. Like, what's going on? This is actually, this is scary. Maybe you're starting to get a little bit confused. Like, what the fuck's happening? I'm trying to follow my rules, but it's not leading to anything. Now, in this case, that exact feeling or the exact rules that were being followed was actually rewarded, right? Was actually rewarded because by continuing to do it, when it was backtesting, it's all fast. Now I truly understand the live conditions. Notice, the way that she learns about her own experience in live conditions and gets better at the live is by continuing to do it. Even though the trader's already profitable, even though the trader has experienced profitability before and knows that the system will work, there is still uncertainty. This is important because that means that a lot of you are going to experience the same uncertainty and complication and confusion at some point, even right now, and that's fine. It's about what you do once that occurs. So Alicia continued to trade. Now I can see how you literally just need to chill the fuck out. Let the cycle play out. And when the markets are in good condition again, you're going to get plenty of trades. Just like today's plus 37 RR. It makes up for all of it. Now there's no drama. I sit back and play games. Exactly. Okay. Now the reason this is also so important is because during this point, you do see that kind of thing where it's like, let me see if I can find it now. You get a thing where even the people that are profitable go, good work, but think about the actual moves. It's very rare, right? Like 32 RR in a day. This is a crazy move. It's very rare. And it is. You're kind of right about that. But this is where everything should change for you guys. So this is why I built this up to this point, because now you should have the perspective shift truly that changes everything for you. You guys ready? Okay, here it goes. I wrote 25.59 R, which is kind of what she had, on 1% risk is 25% return in one day. Even if one day like that happens, if one day like this happens every month or every 2 months, that's over 150% on compounded return per year, which means like you're 200, 300, 400% in compounded returns. What we need to understand about what we do is that we are hunters of the rare moves that actually make money. And then, most importantly, they don't become that rare when you realize what you're looking for. So here's the visual. So again, I'm not just gonna tell you, they're not that rare, guys, go trade. I wanna show you. Think about now, and I did it in a photo. Here we are. This is the candle that Alicia made her money in. There it is. That's your 32 RR, where the rules were met, everything was on the short side, she took a short, the short was rewarded, she made 32 RR. Now I wanna ask you the truth. What is the difference between taking the shorts in here versus taking them here? Or here? Or here? Or here? Or here? Or here? And then on the long side, here? Or here? Or here? Or here? Or here? All of a sudden, what does this extremely rare time in the market become? When you see it visually, what does this extremely rare thing happen? Oh, this seems to be an aspect to price delivery. It seems if I have the tools in place to not trade during MMB creations or redistribution creations, if I don't randomly sit there trying to go long and short and long and short and long and short randomly on every single day, if I allow myself to be patient and experience natural losses, break-evens, and drawdowns, if I stick to trading a simpler version where I'm on one side of the market when it happens, all of a sudden, the rarity of the move becomes quite natural. Now, that's 2 months of time. That's 2 months of time. That's 2 months of time. This right here is 2 days. You're completely correct. When we move live, you start to truly understand what patience and having to wait actually looks like and feels like. And again, the more complex the system, the more golden crusted pancakes that you try to fucking make, the harder it's gonna be when you go live, when you start to cook it on the pan. The simpler the system, the more you allow yourself to wait for the actual opportunities, and taking those actual opportunities will lead to profitability. But it does mean needing to be patient. I want to bring up another really cool thing. Marcus, this is webinar 199. I want to bring up another really, really cool thing. Let me delete all this. A really cool thing that I saw. I hope this guy doesn't mind me showing his discussion with me, right? But ultimately, I gave him the same... Guys, remember, I don't give advice that's new to anyone, right? It's not like, here's the fucking secret sauce. Here's the secret sauce, right? Hey, man. So he had a problem. He was experiencing some issues, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, man, simplify. Same rule. Here's how you can simplify. Do this for me, do this for me, and do this for me. Literally, to the point where I said, trade the stage 2s, don't trade to both directions, limit yourself if you're on the lower time frames, and trade in that way only. You guys want to see what happened when he redid his test, or redid his full back test play-by-play? This is what it was. Through refinement and simplifying, which means reducing opportunity, what happened? When you realize that taking less trades, when you realize that simplifying your system for the purpose of taking infinitely less opportunities, when you realize that if you allow yourself to only wait for the best of deliveries, that's when you're going to make the most amount of money. Because remember, guys, like when is Ment actually trading? Guys, I was taking longs in here, I was taking longs in here, and I was taking longs here. This is the times where I was taking long on stocks and stuff. That means I took, a month and a half. I took a lot of time off. I showed up every day, but I took a lot of time off, and I kept watching things, right? And now recently, it's like, yeah, I'm trading again, but think about like the times where I'm trading. I'm doing a ton of sitting on the sidelines, right? If the market isn't there for the move that I'm looking for, then I am sidelining myself. That's it. It's as simple as that. And then when the moves do come, right, I get rewarded in stupid ways, right? In stupid ways. Like, and again, this trade, I actually like, was up over 22 RR, but I only made like, what, 11 R off it. But 11 R is insane on this, right? I just followed my rules and it led to a very, very good result. So what I just want you to take from this right now is that moves are a lot less rare than you think, even though they're rare. But you're only going to understand it when you start to visually see it. Like, how rare is that move? This is not rare anymore. This looks like, oh, if she's able to do 32R here, there's no reason she can't do 32R here, or here, or here, or here, or here. You're like, yes, the setup might not be there, and that's perfectly fine. The exact setup might not be there, so okay. You didn't get the trade, that's fine. But the recognition that, like, this action isn't new is game-changing. Because the people right now that are experiencing this, what do they think is happening with the market right now? They've never experienced anything. This is the craziest time of all time! Trump tariffs! Crypto! What the fuck? It's like, man, this is part of the natural cycle. Like, people on Ethereum are losing their fucking brain cells right now. Right? People are looking at, what the fuck? I bought into this thing here! Right? It's like, yeah, you're in a cycle, a momentum cycle. You've been in one for the last few months, for almost half a year. It's natural. Marcus types to me and says, remember our talk yesterday or the day prior. Here's the new curve after sidelining and refining more regarding what we spoke of. Not as impressive, but still improvements. That's huge. Because look, again, like, same thing. System. Ready? Here's my advice, the Anton advice, a special advice. Here's how you can simplify. Oh. We just eliminated almost double the drawdown by simplifying to less trades, to the areas we trade, and this can happen on any time frames, any assets that you're trading. Remember that, guys. This applies to anything that you do. The more the lower the time frame, the more opportunity, which means you need to refine to a point where you're taking so few opportunities that you're very, very clear set about what your rules are for an entry. Very, very powerful. Okay? Very powerful stuff. A template. So remember, what did we speak about a second ago? Oh wait, not this one. Not yet. Template. Our moves actually takes once. Pure breakdown. Pure breakdown. This was beautiful. Because I saw you guys do so well on so many things. I think this webinar is perfect because we saw everyone do very well on this, understanding the direction we're trading in, and as a result, trading that direction. And no matter what time frame you were trading on, if you're higher, you were playing this and you're just holding and you're managing, or you're trading another asset to the short side and everything is great. If you're lower, you're trading the stage 2 deliveries of these lowers. So we saw a number of people do exceptional on this. I was so happy to see that. And we also saw people do exceptionally on this thing right here. This was so fucking crazy, right? This move was insane. And, you know, FX pair or whatever, beautiful delivery. Beautiful delivery. You cannot make it up. And the reason I bring this one up right now is because we just did a full pure breakdown of the trades on the long side, the trades on the short side. You guys saw last week the trade on gold, or over the last month actually, sorry, because I traded this back in March, right? So about 15 days ago, I traded this thing. I got stopped out this week. But you saw this breakdown, so this was something I did well on, and a lot of you also did well on this. You saw NASDAQ, you guys did well on it, and a lot of other people also traded GBP/AUD, but the reason I bring this up is because the same way that you see these principles playing out here, the same way you see these principles playing out here that we just spoke about, the same way you see those same principles playing out here, the same way you saw those same principles playing out here, especially if we flipped it, where everything is the exact same thing on repeat, you're now going to see a member that took this trade. Actually, a number of them took this trade. Like a good few members took this exact trade, this GBP/AUD trade. A lot of people were in this thing. It's so cool to see. So this is only one guy, but he did a full breakdown of it. Okay, a full breakdown. And I really want you to understand that what we do is not new. Are you guys ready? This is the same portal material. Nothing's new. I just want this to seep into your subconscious, okay? Hi guys, I want to break down this. I've been following it for weeks. Why? Take a look. Weekly moves, to accumulation, MMB1. It already demonstrates how it wants to move. He began watching it as it started delivering. Okay, same momentum cycle. What next? Daily. Pure one-sided market, clear one-sided market, moves into momentum MBs, clear momentum MBs. These are beautiful. I really wanted to show this because a lot of people thought that like it's different since it's a 4x pair or whatever. Guys, this is not new. This is the kind of market that I would also trade. This is beautiful. Sees the momentum MBs. He wants to trade them. He's watching them for entries. Fantastic. 1 hour. Same things. Major flush. Stage 1s into stage 2s. Flushes to the 10/20. Build up of accumulation MBs. Take a look at this entry right here. That's an accumulation MB entry. Like, I think this one trades back to. That's perfectly fine. It's part of the game. Stage 1s and 2s making up the move. Larger stage 1 becomes a distribution. Flush. Builds accumulation. Continue. Breaks down. Major flush. Following the cycle. Nothing's new. It's part of the same EVC or EVCCC, however you want to think about it. Starts building up the entries. He doesn't take these because why? His rules state that he doesn't want to trade into the major flushes. He waits. Price delivers. Stage 1, stage 2. Stage 1, stage 2. Price breaks down for a major flush. Price begins to deliver. Flush. He begins to trade the floating supply. Price moves out of the containment lines. He could have traded here as well, but he chose to trade here where it was more tight. He traded it. Guess what? He took either a small win or a break even. That's where that happened. Price re-broke down. Possible entries, he didn't trade them, but he understands from the portal exactly how the price moves. That's that same MMB that we just saw on the daily as part of the weekly. Price delivers. Flushes from a stage 2. He executes the double MB. Is this anything new? Floating supply above the high. Let me draw it. Floating supply, where is it? Here we are. Floating supply above the high. Build up. Containment lines, MB build up right over the containment, right at or over the containment. Price accumulates back over the MAs. The flush happens to the MAs. He executes the trade. Recognizes the E micro, recognizes the E micro opportunities that were also available to him, the multiple E micro opportunities available to him under the floating supply here and the floating supply here, sees and understands how the E micro builds this move, takes the trade, moves to break even, gets a insane move. But that's exactly what price is about. Guys, he started stalking this thing when? Here. He recognizes something that is delivering clearly, delivering one-sided, delivering in clear MMBs, stalked it for weeks, watched it for weeks, waited for the MMB setup that was worth trading. He even traded before and took a break even and led to this. And this was beautiful because it wasn't just him. It's not like he spotted this special thing and he got it just right. No, it's like this was a one-sided market. I even broke it down, right? It's like this is exactly what you look for. Look at this delivery. Look at the E micro and then look at it zoomed out truly. Look where those entries, look at this thing. This is portal material 101 from beginning to end with every step taken and accounted for. EVC, proper delivery, proper cycles, proper flushes, the exact way you assume, the E micro lining up for every single aspect of it, buy stop the high principle, add it, working in effect, floating supply above, inside floating supplies of the moves that are setting up, overall lower time from accumulations happening. This is what it means to case study, understand moves, understand them from the point of the portal material or from the public YouTube if people have been through it and working through it, right? And to execute upon it and then to manage. Is this a lucky move, guys? Is it a rare lucky move? No, it's not, guys. It's not. Yeah, in consideration of the entirety of GBP AUD, it definitely is. But the move is the same thing you learned in the portal, the same thing that's been happening for 100+ years, the same thing that I went over on Dow Jones in 1890, in 1930, through the portal, just to show you that this has not changed for hundreds of years, or decades, right? Has not changed for decades, nothing has changed. The same rules that I use to execute the most recent gold trade longs, the same rules and cycles that we use to identify a bearish cycle on NQ and QQQ, the same cycles that people use to trade this thing down on QQQ or NQ, the same thing that people use to short markets on ARM, Reddit, Powell, that I tried to get into. HIMS, the same thing that we used to understand that Ethereum was breaking down and was going to be a weak market and is now delivering. The same thing that we used to understand that Bitcoin is not ready for a move at all yet while people are trapped and losing money. The same thing that we used to prevent our downside exposure and watching other people go into 80%, 50% drawdowns. There's nothing special. It is a fucking recurring thing on repeat, but the only people capable of taking advantage of it are those that have actually gone through it, right? So it's so important that you've understood the way that we think and then started to operate under the idea of simplicity, 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 because that's what's leading to profitability, okay? And again, the same thing. So someone said, so my man Wolfie here said, can you share your views on this? So here's a 5-minute Dog USD, so Doge, Dogecoin, Doge USD trade he was looking at. He's like, what do you think of my long here? What do you think about taking a long here? I said, okay, right? What do you think are the steps that I would use to take a long here? Or if I was to take a long here? Well, you go through the exact same steps. EVC, what's the move? Take a look at this. So I told them, like, you guys can also go back and find this because, this is all in the trade talk. But I said, listen, let's work through it. If you're trading a 5-minute, which it seems he's doing here, you can tell that he's just kind of entering willy-nilly, right? Kind of. So I said, go through the steps. If you're trading a 5-minute, you're likely looking at a 5, 30, and 5-hour EVC. Okay? So the daily is already proving to be bearish. We know that. Okay. The 5-hour has done what? Accumulation MB, accumulation cycle completed, distribution MB, distribution cycle may be completed, maybe accumulation MB, maybe MMB1. It could be, right? It might not be, but it could be. There's maybe is that MMB here that wants to start this move. Sure. Let's look at the 30-minute. Look at what I wrote here. I went through the steps. As I'm looking at this, I see chop. And I write, extremely choppy action. It's not proving the willingness to maintain a direction currently, while also showcasing a lot of wicks. The most recent accumulation cycle was very weak and weird. Look at this. What the fuck is that? Right? It's very weak. It's weird. Price is likely in a distribution MB right now, with the potential to build accumulation. Then I ask the question, is this screaming clarity or confusion in terms of the market? To me, it screams confusion. So I will likely ignore. Then I move to the entry time frame. And look what I see. I see that same trade he's looking at. He wants to buy stop this high. Look what I write. These MBs are for the purpose of building more liquidity or accumulating more positions and likely to just simply fail. You can see what I drew. I assume maybe it'll take out the high and then it'll just go sideways and chop. If there are trades, they'll be like out here. What does Doge proceed to do from that exact point? Here's the high he wanted to long. Do you guys see it? Read it? See it? How did Anton know that this double MB wasn't going to make a good entry, this one or this one? How did he know? How did Ment know that I shouldn't take this entry? It's like, because I've went through the steps and I ask myself, is this screaming clarity or confusion? Is this screaming cycle delivery or non-cycle delivery? That's it. So you don't make a rule by going, okay, what's the secret here? Is it this? Is this the thing? Right? Are they taking out the low? Maybe take out the high, right? Take out this high. Oh, got all the highs, got my, crazy. Like, it's like, you don't have to do all this analysis. You go through the steps. The steps are clear, but you need to have a template to it. This is the template. The template comes directly from the portal. Nothing is new, nothing is special. It's the exact same thing. EVCC, no trade. Done. And guess what happens? Price wipes and does nothing important. Where is it? Right here. Price wipes, does nothing important, never goes into accumulation, moves into distribution, delivers distribution. Delivers distribution. Absolutely beautiful too. Beautiful. And for some people, this is multi 100K, million, multiple 10K, multiple 4K, 3K, I'm sorry, 4-figure, 2-figure, 3-figure, whatever they're trading, opportunity right here. That's it, right? On repeat, nothing more, nothing more. It's so beautiful to see. Okay, so this has been a phenomenal week for all of this. Stage 1 and 2, what am I even writing about here? Okay, we don't need to talk about that. I don't think it's necessary. Our moves are actually rare. Yes, right here. So another thing is that it takes one spout of drawdowns and wins, or one winning day, or one live executed day of management to change your entire perception of trading. So this is very important right here. Right? Everything that we do here is to literally, once you're doing it live, once you're doing it for yourself, to learn so much about yourself and your system that you have pure confidence, okay? So what I mean by this is like, you are guaranteed, by the way, all of you, you are all guaranteed to get to a point where you will be confused, upset with your performance, upset with the way that the performance is going, upset with the current state of your equity curve. It's gonna happen, I guarantee you. Write it down somewhere. Write down, like go into your journal and write down, or like get a sticky note and write down, I'm going to feel like shit if I don't already feel like shit. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but at some point, here are the things that are gonna happen. I'm not gonna see any trades. The trades I do see are not gonna work at all. I'm almost going to fail at being patient. I'm going to think that my system no longer works. I'm going to feel like I'm never going to get out of drawdown. I'm going to quite literally feel like I need to change systems or even not trade. If you write those bullet points down and stick them up, use them as a daily reminder, right? That's going to happen. At one point, that's going to happen. You're going to be going through some kind of spout, right? Or like you can even write this down. I'm going to go through 4 months of not even being able to take a trade. I'm going to go through 4 months of taking only losses and break evens. Right? If you write this down, you're going to experience at one point. But this is the most powerful thing about trading, once you've understood it, is that as long as you allow yourself to continue, not 99.99 black, it's 100%. Every trader is at some point going to feel it, okay? Because it's going to happen. You're going to feel like you've done something wrong, but you haven't. At some point, it's going to happen. But then, if you allow yourself to follow your rules, you're going to get out of that drawdown. It's going to happen. If you're following rules especially. And if you've proven those rules because you've done the work. Right? It's going to happen. You're going to get out of it. And that's exactly what this message kind of speaks to. We've already seen this message, but that's what it speaks to, right? During even 1 to 2 weeks of drawdown, this trader, despite knowing that she's profitable and had profitability, was feeling down, was feeling like they should never get out of this. Where are the trades? What the fuck is happening? And then, as I wrote here, it takes one spout of true drawdown, plus the wins that come after. It takes one winning day. It takes one delivery of pure understanding, right? It takes one delivery of pure understanding where everything aligned the way that you would want to see. And this could happen after months, right? Nothing happens and then boom, this is delivery you get. It takes one day like that to completely change your entire perception of trading. You go from that sticky note to, oh, this is why people a lot of the time quit trading and never make it. This is what trading actually looks like. This is what I'm actually doing when I'm trading in terms of patience, in terms of waiting, in terms of edge, execution, right? You almost have like an inflow of everything that says, this is why I followed the process I followed. No wonder so many before me and after me will continue to fail. Right? No wonder so many stay confused for so long. All this work that I did and all this feelings I felt and all this stuff on my sticky note that I've written down was alleviated through true time and execution that led to, a complete change of personality, right? Where you're like, oh, right. That's the move I was waiting for. And that can happen now, that can happen later, right? It could have even happened to you during this delivery here. A lot of you probably on just this delivery experienced this. It will happen over and over and over again, but a lot of you on just this NQ delivery were like, oh, right? During this time, you would have been like, what the fuck's going on? Everything's choppy. It doesn't make any sense. Then start delivering. The delivery started happening. It happened perfectly. It happened with the portal material. It happened exactly as you would wish. Oh. This is what it means to be patient. This is what it means to trade. This is what it means to wait for the cycle. This is what a cycle play out means. This is how the online news space, it keeps people confused. This is how other mentors and things that I've seen online are just wired to almost fuck you over. This is how people that are even in their retirement accounts are getting worried. Oh, I understand. It takes one of these times to happen, right? I need you to recognize that. Write this down. It's going to take one of those times to happen, but all you have to do is allow that thing to happen because it's going to happen, but you need to let it happen or you're fucked, right? You're going to get to a point where You're following, analyzing, and then this happens. And it trades up, 20R or whatever, and you manage it just right, and everything is like, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I get it now. Right. Rudy says, I'm literally in that space now. Was funded for the first time in January, but since then, the last 3 months, I don't even have faith in trading or my system, but I'm still following the process, hoping it unfucks itself. Exactly. Okay, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I know there's like been a ton of messages, so I'm gonna work through them in a second. But those are, so that is exactly what I want to discuss this today, right? Is understanding that like these things are not rare, even though they are. They're rare, but they're not rare, right? Like diamonds are rare, but they're not rare because there's almost an infinite amount of being mined or whatever, right? So these moves are rare, but they're not rare, and the only time they feel rare is if you're quite literally trading anything and everything at all times, getting all these random results of wins, losses, taking 15 trades, 30 trades, 40 trades a day for some people, 50 trades a week, whatever it might be, right? And if you're doing all that, then yes, of course, it's going to feel very rare when a real winner comes, because everything in between is like drawdown and shit and eating shit, instead of I've simplified my system to a point where the only time I execute something is like, I've understood that I'm one-sided and I want to trade it. Okay, so it's a very, very powerful thing. Your entry should be rare. Yeah, kinda, exactly, right? Like if your entry's not rare, then you're trading everything, right? My entry's like not super rare. Like think about it, guys. My entry this week happened here, 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 and inside of these there were multiple, right? Because there's E-micros. You can see some of the red lines I drew here, right? Not here. Here, right? Like there's infinite, right? There's a ton of trades and opportunities around these that are like fine, but they're happening at specific times, right? They're only happening at specific moments. It's not like every day I'm showing up, I'm like, oh, trade. It's like, no, there's a cycle to what's happening, and I need to play and trade that cycle as it shows up rather than just fucking randomly, right? And again, if you make your system so rare that it's so simplified to the point where, again, after 50 trades, 100 trades, you're up 1 or 2R, you've already done better than anybody else in this space, and you're just not executing. For what reason, right? Get to executing. That's what you have to do. All right, let me go up, and I'm going to go through some stuff here. So you guys can also scroll up in the chats if you want, and we can go through together. But so there we go. Very good to see a lot of people. Marcus, what's good, everyone? First live webinar. I'm happy you're back on the lives, bro. Are you going to do a special webinar by 200? I think this one counts as a special webinar, so we'll just call this one webinar 200 for you. I don't plan to have... Listen, I try to offer as much value as I can every single webinar that we have. I don't try to... Ooh, only at 100 am I going to go crazy for you guys, or 200 is going to go... We're going to go a lot of stuff. It's like... No, the part where we put a lot of value and stuff out is the portal. That's where I've tried to put everything, because I don't want people to necessarily need to rely on Webbies. But at the same time, the Webbies are a demonstration of everything in the portal. And that's all they're going to be forever. They're going to be a true breakdown of everything you've learned over and over and over again. You're going to see firsthand how the exact people around you are doing this in front of you, are catching these pockets of action, are seeing these pockets of action, but then visually understanding that they're not pockets of action that are like, can't be fucking caught, because at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. This guy got the GP. Oh no, this is your NZD. That's right. Because a lot of people got the GP AUD trade as well, right? Like this is perfect. Like a lot of people were able to execute this because they understood what's happening, right? I was even asked about the GP AUD trade from Ment. Like I was literally asked about it in Trade Talk. I was literally asked about this trade before it ever delivered anything, and I said, "Hey, dude, like this actually looks really clean. Like this is actually a great trade." Because he was a little bit uncertain about it at the time of taking it. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, he literally asked, he's like, do you think this trade was fine? Does it like make sense? Because at the time he's taking it, it's like here or something. He's like, do you think it makes sense or whatever? And I literally looked at it across a few times and said, yeah, this looks great. There's no reason I think it actually makes sense. And I said, solid trade. And this is literally when it was here. Look at it. It's not even up 1 to 1R. And I said, this looks like a great trade. Good execution. Go and, manage your rules. And what happened into the next day? He says, what the fuck? Look. Natural. He says, I thought it was going to be a break even. And then what? Well, I mean, we all know. We all know then what. But let's talk about then what. Because this was Euro NZD. But again, same move. It's the same thing. Look at this. This is phenomenal. Takes his trade, manages it, boom. Like, you need one of these in every 4 months, and you're done. One of these every 6 months, and you're done, right? Like, really think about that. But then a little bit later, this one too. Oh, this is NQ, that's fine. Was this flipped? It is flipped. Guys, post them right side up. So guys, he shorted this thing, which is correct. He made money on the shorts. He made money in what kind of market environment? Well, this one. This is what he took shorts in. Do you think that shorts are going to be rewarded when you take shorts in a market generally that looks like this? Fuck yes. He understands what the underlying condition of this market is. He executes upon it. Okay? Later that day, where is this thing? Thank you. Didn't place it, took it later, off his 1 minute, made money. Fantastic. Fantastic. Fucking beauty. Just absolute beauty. Yeah, literally. That's pretty good. Just a phenomenal week. Just so respectable to look at something like this. Again, you can almost tell that there's just patience and execution only when things are met. Like, you can almost tell just by looking at this. It's like tiny losses, minimize losses, kind of doing nothing. Trades get canceled because the buy stop never becomes worthwhile or sell stop doesn't become worthwhile. Takes his entry. Makes him, oh wait, he made money on sells on GPAUD. What the fuck? How the fuck did you, oh, did you sell it for the win? Is that what happened here? I think so. I think it's just shown that way. I think you sold it for the, because it was a long. Euro AUD, same thing, right? GPAUD. Whoop, GPAUD. There it is. This is the MMB that was traded. Euro AUD, you know. Oh my god, it's even cleaner. Holy shit. Oh my. This guy's gonna be, where is he? Mohammed? Millionaire. In 10 years, okay? Like, this guy, like, you look at this and you just know he has the understanding there, right? Now, okay, maybe, because this execution is a little weird, for me at least. Maybe, I don't know how he executed this thing. But the fact that he spotted this market and this condition is insane. Like, this is so good. You have those E-micros, you have this setup, and maybe the E-micros up here. Actually, GPAUD is cleaner from the entry perspective because of this. So this was actually cleaner on an entry perspective from an hourly and the stuff inside of it. But yeah, this is just, it's just beauty. I'm so happy that we got to like see this week because so many people did exceptionally on this. I was so proud to see like GA. Yeah, he got to play it as well. Played it through the containment line, MB1, MB2, boom, traded it, moved to break even. I mean, it's just beauty. Like, oh, and then I did this. You know, chef's kiss on the delivery. Literally wrote out this delivery for the team. I'll show you guys. Because again, there's nothing special. Just beautiful to see it happening. Let me see where it is. Yeah, here you guys go. Right? It's like there's nothing special. The expectancy was there. Everything was there. And clearly this was already clear from a month ago, right? When we spoke about the shorts overall, but look at this. This is the exact delivery as per portal material. Nothing new. This is also why anyone that's new here, work through it. You're going to learn everything, okay? The Forex says, last week was a blessing for traders, bleeding for investors. Yep. I mean, that's usually how it is, right? Investors make money over a ton of time. Traders make money in pockets of time. That's it. That's why one of Ramsey's initial tests is just scrambled eggs. It's basic. There you go. If I'm up 1R after 50 trades, I might be funded next year. Good. Good. Now again, a lot of you that actually follow the law of 1R after 50 trades will actually be up a lot more. It's going to happen, right? A lot of you that follow the law of I need to be up 1R after 50 trades are actually going to end up being up a ton more. But the only way that you end up a ton more is if you actually follow the rules, right, of the process. Hi, Anton just managed to join. What's up, David? Really happy to have you on the team. Late says that was me 6 months ago, lol. Yeah, there you go. Tom says, hey, man, a quick question from the last webinar because I didn't quite understand it. If my account is 300K, my buying power is, let's say, 600K for stocks, and I enter a trade with 30K, is my buying power 600K minus 30K? Yeah. 600K minus 30K is your buying power. The fundamental principles is what matters. Yep, you're completely correct. 10R is huge, I'd say, because you're profitable. Yep, exactly. You guys have it easy, okay? You guys have it easy. Here, your biggest problem is I'm not making enough money, or like I'm not making enough RR profit. Like a lot of you are literally building systems and refining your systems already to the point where you're like, I need this to be a bigger RR positive number. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You've outperformed 92% of people in the entire space, right, already, and your worry is that, like, I'm not making enough RR. It's like, you have it very good, right? Luke says, I have 2 questions regarding the screener. What is ADR percent? General percentage move of an asset every single day. Stop size equals the stop size times the asset size of the broker. I don't know what that means. I thought it was just a number of how big our SL is from the long/short position tool. Number of how big ours. I don't know what you mean by this, my friend. Luke, I might have to look over this in the trade talk or something, but yeah, I don't know what we're looking at there. Henning says, I'm looking for 3 to 5% a month. That's a lot a month. I wouldn't set goals like that. Your goal is 1R after 50 trades. If you set goals of percentages and percentage gains, then when you don't meet them, you're going to make mistakes. If you don't, Black says, if you don't have enough capital, don't start trading. Focus on making money first and consider trading, or work with a prop firm to trade with funded capital. Yep, completely. If you don't have enough money where the money that you would make from trading your system wouldn't make you quote unquote happy or make you follow your rules right because it's just not worth the money, then you need to go and get more money, or you trade your system to make more money. That's all you can do, right? Or work with a prop firm to technically have more buying power, a little bit more money, right? But it's going to take some time because you have to get funded and you have to do it under the right parameters, because if you're starting out with less money, then theoretically that money matters more to you, which means you need to have reduced risk, or you're just flipping an account. And if you're flipping an account, you're likely to lose your money. Black says, some guys have $200 to $500 in their pockets and want to make 20K in the first month. Nonsense. Yeah, that's most of the space. Most of the way that people sell online is by those kind of promises. They, of course, amount to nothing. They never get anywhere. And the only time people actually learn that or understand what they've got to do is when they've worked through the proper process, right? And once they've worked through the process, they're like, oh, shit, that's not how money works. That's not how I'm going to make money, right? I'm literally putting capital to work, and I need to understand what that means expectancy-wise from what I'm doing. Oh, wait, shit, my data here is wrong now. Here we go. Almost had that wrongly there. Almost didn't notice it too. Tim says, hi, Ment, I've been through all of the portal material and still I'm not good at finding MMB, accumulation MB, disMB. What would you suggest me to do? Interesting. You don't necessarily have to be very good at it just because you've seen it, but you should understand it. And to get better, the best thing you can do is be in the trade talks, show up to the webinars, watch the breakdowns of any trade that I take or a member takes, do your own breakdowns, do your own case studies, do exactly what is taught to you and shown to you to do in the portal. Go over this move and ask yourself, what were the steps to this move? Go over NASDAQ on your own and mark up what you believe to be true and compare it to me. The best ways to get better is to do it. You use the methodology and the concepts taught to do it for yourself and learn from it. Learn from other people that take trades, that take good trades, case study those good trades, understand what the accumulation MBs and MBs were actually doing. But yeah. Adam says, go into Discord and top right, choose mentfx and look through pictures he has sent. Yep. Alex asked him, how many case studies did you do? He said 3. Okay, well, there we go. You've done 3 case studies, man. That's nothing. You've like, get to 100, get to 10,000, and then, and then we can talk a little bit. That's gotta hurt. Yeah, people are down 20% on their capital. It's gotta hurt. Maki says in crypto, those people are down even more if it fucks up. Yep. Fell into that trap myself in the beginning. It can happen. Yep. Yep, exactly. I hear everybody panicking right now when the market is down 5%. Imagine when it's down 60. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the panic is because we're down 22%, probably. And it keeps going. And like the big panic is the fact that just recently we're down an extra 8%, which is crazy, right? People literally, well, actually, yeah, just this week, people are down an extra 10% on their capital. That's insane, right? If you have $2 million saved up over 60 years of your life, you're down 200K just in the last week. Okay, just remember that. You're down 200K. If you've had 2 million saved over the course of your entire life, 60 plus years, you're down 200K 2 days. So of course there's panic. Because if another 2 days happens, you could be down another 200K. That's a terrifying thing for some people, right? People that have 2 million saved just in the last month and a half, right? That had 2 million saved to their name after 60 years of living and putting money in and like allowing it for potential retirement. Like, you guys need to understand they're down. What is this? It's an insane fucking number. Can you guys do the math? Maybe I was doing the math wrong before. Okay, it's 10%. Oh no, they're down almost, they're down $500,000. People that have saved $2 million to their name over 60, 70 years are down $500,000. They're down $500,000. Right, that's terrifying. That is panic. But that is what a investing buy and hold does for you. You're either there for the long run and you have to now wait for it to hopefully correct over the next 3 years, 5 years, maybe 1 year, however long it wants to take. Right? Or you got to sell for a huge loss. People are worried because, if you're whatever, 50 years old and you're down 20%, you're like, shit. Like, maybe I can do another 10 years and then I'm okay. Right? But some people are like, shit, I might have to sell right now. This is the game. This is the game you play when you decide to be a buy and holder, right? And you haven't made maybe enough money to retire. Yeah, you gotta recognize that. And then you start really appreciating the fact that you could do 10R in a year with no drawdown. Because now you realize that even if worst comes to worst, you never end up trading as a full-time thing, but you do anything else and also have a retirement account, but for your retirement account, you trade your system of 10R a year with no or very minimal drawdown. That's a huge benefit because you can be up $2 million after 60 years and not worry about being down 20% in one move. That is what trading means, right? Trading is not just this like $500, 10K, here I go. It's like, that's not what trading entails. Trading has always been understanding that all you're doing is you're putting your money to work. And there are many ways to make that happen, right? These are like the huge emotional shifts you have to, or psychological shifts you have to have. But yeah. Priscilla says, is it a good time to think to buy when you see an accumulation and a candle that moved up in a way it hasn't moved up in a very long time? Sure, but like where? On like what? I don't see it like on this, at least. When you can see it, those lines aren't even in the way. Yeah. Black says, yeah, plus 34 RR in 2 weeks. There you go. And guess what? I got like none of it. You guys want to know what my 30, you know, all these people got 32 R in a week. You know how much I got? I got a break even. Could have been even a loss. That's all I got. Right? Because of the way that I executed, the way that I approached it. That's perfectly fine. I don't care. I know what I'm looking for. I know it's going to repeat. The same cycles happen again and again and again. The same setups happen again and again and again. And I'm going to be part of that move at some point. That's it. On the long or the short side. So, yeah, because I'm getting good at shorting too. Ment, can you please answer my question about correlation from Lofrey? Sure. Are you okay with entering 2 setups at the same time if they don't correlate? And the same question with 2 stock setups happening at the same time? Sure. I don't know if I misunderstood you, but you once said if you and UJ have an ugly context, then the whole Forex market is ugly. Usually, yeah. But why? Because GP NZD or GP CAD don't correlate. Then you can trade those. That's perfectly fine. I was just giving a general rundown. The general rundown is that EU and UJ kind of control the whole market because they're like the biggest. But GBP, the pound, is also a big currency. So technically, some GBP pairs could also act as their own strength or their own trends or whatever, right? Because if you're looking at like a EU and GU, it's likely going to be very similar. But if you're looking at like EU and GC, where Canadian dollar NZD is a very like, not a micro, what is it called? A very exotic or whatever, then GBP is going to have so much effect on it that you might actually get trends, right? Does gold have a market to which it is properly linked, like stocks and QQQ or crypto and Bitcoin? Just look at it. Maybe silver. At the moment, if I look at it, it has absolutely no correlation whatsoever to anything. So no, right? Like this just functions on its own at the moment, it seems. It just moves in its own little thing. So it's probably correlated to metals. Metal ETFs, metal stocks, silver, copper, stuff like that, right? And I'm assuming it's probably shown the most strength. Bitcoin is holding like a champ. Let's see what it does next week. Yeah. It is building a, stage 1, but it's also on the distribution side in an MMB right now. So a lot of this is saying continuation right now. But it's, like you can see how weak Ethereum is because Ethereum is literally taking out lows, which is insane, while Bitcoin is like up here. Let's look at the weekly really quick, actually. But yeah, this needs time. This is in distribution. Like everything about this is still pointing towards a bearish crypto market right now. Like look at this, guys. You're in MMB1 of a weekly. Like at the moment, like that's what this is showing. Right? So downside's looking promising at the moment. Rodriguez says, not gonna lie, I did not think about that. Being up 1,000% and still being harshly affected by a mere minus 20%. Yeah, because it's percentages, right? You can make 10,000% over your lifetime, right? Let's say you make 10,000% on like $100. What is that? 10,000% is what? That much times 100? Wait. I don't. Oh wait. You know what I mean. Okay. The point is, if you make a fuck ton of money, if you win even the lottery, and you have $2 million now, and that's you being up literally 10,000% on the money that you maybe had relatively, right? Being down 20% on this is still being down $500,000 because percentages are in line with the current value. So just making 10,000% on something doesn't mean anything if after it's down 50%. You've lost 50% of your entire net worth. Like that, right? There is nothing saying that people are not going to be down 50% on their net worth in the next few months, right? There could be people investing in this thing since back here, and they're going to be down 50% on any of those investments. You have to understand that because that's how compounding works. If you've made $10 million over all this time, if this happens, just this, you're going to be down $5 million. Done, right? This is what people don't understand. It's like, well, I could have just been in this big Bitcoin run. I could have just bought here and been up millions. It's like, yeah, you would have been. But right now, no matter how much percent you're up, well, in this case, it's not that big of a correction, right? But you're down 30% on your capital if you're just invested in crypto, right? If you made $10 million on this, you're down, do the math, guys. 10 mil, 3 mil, you're down $3 million. 30% of your account has been wiped from existence, and you're hoping for this. Ethereum. People put savings, life savings into this at this point, right? That could be, let's say, 100K. People that put 100K into this thing up inside these areas are currently down, guys, they're down 55K. They have 45K in their balance from a 100K investment. People that put in 100K right here, like whatever, let me unlog this. There we go. People that put 100K into this thing like here, because a lot of people bought when this was at new time highs, right? All the news stuff was saying Ethereum at all-time highs is a great investment. Over the last 10 years, it's returned over how much percent a year? Unbelievable amount. Over 10, 20% a year. No, wait, sorry, even more. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4 years, 1,000%. What's that? Yeah, 250%. Yeah, it's returned 250% over 4 years. It's guaranteed to make you at least 10% over the next 1 year. People put their life savings into this thing. People put an absurd amount of money. Some people even put millions in, right? You put in $1 million here, which is natural. People buy at all-time highs sometimes because that's when the news outlets hit and everyone's like, oh, buy this shit. Right, they're currently down 600K and hoping, please, a miracle, please, Ethereum, please go up. It's like, okay, recognize what you've done to yourself. Recognize where you put yourself. That's how money works, right? You're down that much, right? Like, I want this to be clear. If you put in $1 million here at this high, you were up $2.4 million here. And now you're down 150K if you've bought and hold from here. Remember that. At this point, you're down 150K if you held through this. This is a very important thing to understand because that's how percentages work. If you're buying and holding things, right? This is why when I say that if you can return 10% a year with no drawdown, you are unbelievably profitable. The things you're doing are insane, and you can put your money to work as you see fit. All right, let's keep going. Does anyone else have an issue with the screen share being behind the audio? I know it's probably an internet issue. Maybe, it looks like it happens during Webbies. Sorry about that. Keen says, do you use the cheat code 5EMA only for the validation timeframe to know when you want to go to the E timeframe or also for the C timeframe to say that you are switching to the V timeframe? Both, yeah, both are fine. March was amazing with the shorts. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Beautiful market condition. Absolute pure momentum delivery. Everyone is confused why it's happening or how it's happening and where's price going to stop? Where's the special low? Is it going to stop there? Is it going to stop there? Is it going to stop at this imbalance? Is it going to stop here at this support? Where's it going to stop? It's like, it doesn't matter. Follow the cycle. The cycle is here. This is the cycle we're following. That's the cycle that has been executed since the beginning. Community was active, yeah. You guys are awesome for making the community as active as you guys make it. Chen says, hey, Ment, as per your EVC, 1 week, 1 day, 65 minute, would you actually shift your bias to short after this candle closed? I understand valid SMB formed here, but price has not even touched the 20 EMA yet. Would I shift my bias to short? It depends. What was QQQ doing at this time? If this was showing pure distribution, then yeah, there's no reason not to. This is a one-sided market that is now broken down. It's stage 1 and is making distribution MB, right? You could even wait for this to start setting up the daily MMBs like around here. That's perfectly fine as well. So it's just a question of preference here for you, Chen, okay? Both are valid. Marcus says, I went over my data yesterday. I saw that during March, if I sat out of more trades and stopped forcing trades, I'd be up another 16R. Thank you. Patience breeds profitability on repeat. The ability to simplify and stay out makes you infinitely more money than trading and trading and trading and trading and trading and trading. Okay, that's it. That's all it's ever been. right? Imagine you're on a boat, right? You're like a fisherman or something, right? And like there's a part of the ocean that's colder and a part of the ocean that's warmer. And in the warmer part of the ocean, if you start fishing, you will guaranteed catch like 100,000 fish, okay? But the fish that you catch on the warm side are all worth a penny. Okay, so you make 100,000 pennies per day. On the other side, in the cold water, there's like the deep sea fishing where you can get like the blue fish tuna or whatever, right? That one goes for like $1 million or $2 million, right? What's the price? What's the price of a blue fish tuna or something? 2 million, something like that. Where is it? Yeah, the blue fish tuna is almost 1.3 mil, can be 3 mil. So that's one fish. Right now, the question becomes, would you go and waste all your resources and time fishing in the warm part where maybe you might catch one of these that come over, right? And you have to spend money on equipment, on break-evens, on losses, on the lines, on more people to fish because you're like, get more people so we can fucking maybe get a bluefish, or do you just go to the cold side and get a bluefish tuna every week or 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every month, every year? Right? You'll go for one a year. So clearly the thing that you should be operating with as a trader is not how many trades can I get into? It should be, where are the good trades? How do I simplify what I do to only fish in the cold water where I'm going to get a bluefish tuna at some point, where I'm going to get the rare move, right? How do I get my rare move? If you simply make your entire rule set and simplify the rule set enough to trade the move when it's good, you're going to make infinitely more money, despite not doing as much work. The person that catches, imagine you spoke to me like, imagine we're the two fishermen. We meet each other in a bar. Hey man, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. Well, how's your fishing been? Oh, it's been so good. I've caught 600,000 fish in the last 2 weeks. Holy shit, that's amazing. I've caught none. Well, I caught a fish like 6 months ago, I think. Oh God, are you okay, man? Yeah, I'm doing great. I sold it for about 2 million at the Tokyo auction. 2 million! I just sold 600,000 of my fish over the last 2 weeks for 100 pennies each, or 1 penny each. I made 6,000 pennies. That was $60. You're up 2 million. You caught one fish. What the? Well, I'm in the cold water. I'm just waiting for the catch. Waiting for the catch, but you're telling me you just sit there and wait and do nothing else but wait? Yeah. How does waiting make you? Oh. So if I wait for my opportunity, I guarantee I make more. Huh? Right? It's like, stop thinking that because you've shown up to take a trade that you're going to be making money. It's the stupidest thing ever. Right? If you show up with the idea of like, I'm going to get long and short because the market's taking up the high, it should go up and down and maybe it goes up. It's like, stop. Simplify and wait. Be as patient as you possibly can, and you will make infinitely more money. And you will have proof of that. Okay. Liam says 100%. I learned this week too. One trade, 15 RR. Yeah, no shit. There you go, right? It's beautiful. Correction. Hey, Anton, what is your opinion on US 100 for lower time frame traders this week? Keep following the stage twos. Shorts are in effect. Likely extended at this point, right? I mean, you have an insane stage 2 move off of this. You could keep getting more. The best trades were right here. The stage 2 delivery. Could you get another stage 2 day? Yeah, maybe like a short term or maybe a drop. Who knows? But the next steps are MMB, continuation. If that doesn't happen, then we're taking some time to redistribute. That's it. The same thing on repeat. The same thing the last 2 weeks. What happened this week? I said, wait for this to start distribute. Follow it. What happened this week? I said, likely MMB, look to follow it. There it is. Here's your stage 2. Part of trading is also understanding that if your rule is simply to trade the stage 2, which means you'd be going short, 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 this is probably the extension of the stage 2. Like, can it go lower? Of course it can. Is it likely right now? Probably not, based on how cycles work and cycles move. So you can follow short. If it keeps setting up, then sure, go for it. Take your 1, 2 trades, 3 trades of the day. But if it starts correcting, then you know what to wait for, right? You wait for your MMB. You wait for the breakdown, the next stage 2. Black says, could you talk a bit about correlation between stocks and QQQ? When I trade stocks, I'm constantly watching QQQ. A lot of them trend to follow it closely. Well, that's it. You pretty much said it yourself. The QQQ is the entire stock market for the most part. It's how money's flowing into or out of it. If money's flowing into it overall on the long side, then you're overall going to have better long setups across the board for most stocks, since they generally fall into this money operation right here. If the overall money is coming into sell off and people are selling out of their positions, that means that money is coming out of stocks directly, because everything that's affected by this is pretty much sprawled out across the entire stock market. So what does that mean? You're generally going to have more bearish deliveries. The bearish deliveries that are in line with or even weaker than the overall market are going to keep on fading and falling off even harder, right? There it is. The stuff that was once really good that is now showing insane weakness is the stuff that's just now fucking dripping lower. That's it. I mean, you said it yourself. Yvonne says, can this apply back to the 50 trades needing to be up just 1 RR? Because it all makes sense. Yep, exactly. iPhone says, when the QQ is bearish as it is now, is it okay to trade longs on the 1 minute on stocks on the best intraday gainers? Or how should we approach that? Yeah, you can. That's fine. I mean, I think if you're trading very low time frames on stocks, you should only be going long, because you are opening yourself to, if it's like an illiquid pair, like one of those like shit stocks, shit coins, shit stock, shit coin, whatever it is called, right? Then yeah, you only want to be going long, because the gaps on the short side, or the way the short side can work, can really fuck you, because there's huge short squeezes all the time. Alchemist says, how do we scale if we want to go through prop firm, but they usually have rules like minimum 4 trading days a week? Stop trading with bad firms. That is how, my friend. That is how you do it. You don't trade with bad firms. Here's a scaling rule. And actually, just so you guys know, we're editing the website since we were able to run some data, and we're getting rid of. I think we're getting rid of this. So this is what it's going to look like in a second. So to you, Alchemist, to answer your question, here's a scaling. Can scale you to 5 mil from any starting balance. And do you see anything about minimum 4 trading days a week? I don't. And these are actually going to be the same rules, just so you guys know, for the futures as well. But the futures are only going to go up to 200K, I believe. But again, I don't want to make this a talk about Ment Funding specifically. But to answer your question, Alchemist, you trade with a firm, that's good. Stop trading with shit firms. The next time I see someone like, you're profitable. And then you go in on a day and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. The firm I'm with, I just can't seem to make money. They have a trailing drawdown that updates based on my equity. What should I do? It's like, dude, you answered the question for yourself. Like, you paid a cheap price for a shit account and you're wondering why it's hard for you to make money on it. It's like, okay. That's it. There's nothing more to it. Stop trading with shitty firms and shitty rules. Trade with your own account. Trade with a better firm. Trade with a firm that better follows the principles by which you want to trade. And that's it. Vishesh says, I case studied... Let me go out of this. I case studied... What'd you do? I case studied longs only for over 100 winners on stocks. Literally every single big runner came out when the market was bullish. Kind of an eye-opener. There you go. Now you know why I do what I do. I recognize that the time where money flows into stocks and the stocks have the best moves is when the overall market is very bullish, because overall money is flowing into the market. That's it. When will you release more one-on-ones? As I have them. I've been doing a lot of work recently, just trying to get a lot of stuff out. He's studying and execute what his master taught. Now he came out with the good results. Exactly. Timo says, I don't know how to watch multiple markets yet, so the right approach would be to watch the context time frame and just pay attention to the accumulation MB to MB. Yeah. I mean, the way I watch multiple markets is, I have a list of things, and then every day or at the end of every 3 days, I'll look through everything and be like, what's showing weakness, what's showing strength, what's showing extra weakness or extra strength based on the overall market that I'm looking at. Can I trade it? That's it. right? And I missed these, but like this would be one of them. Market that is showing clear weakness in regards to the overall market after having a nice run, in a clear context time frame that's really good now, breaking down with the overall market, but breaking down even heavier. Like, I wanted to trade this. You can see I even was watching it. Like, look at this. I was going to trade this thing, but I opted against it because it gapped down. So usually I don't trade gaps. And then I looked at it, it was at that floating demand, and then the E micros happened. I just didn't trade the E micros. Like, I'm aware I could have traded these, and this would have been, like, at this point, clear reward. It would be amazing. I just didn't. That's fine, right? And I'll just look through stuff like this. Like, this had the same thing, and I thought, okay, this could do the same thing. I'll trade it. Didn't work out. Well, took a break even. This thing did it too. Worked out. That's the one I traded. This thing too, this one would have kind of worked out. The E micros in here would have been the ones that worked, but those would be harder to trade because you're trading them inside of a higher time frame MB setup, right? So you'd be trading through this cell, through this cell, through this cell. That's okay. This one, worked out really well. So like, I'll do that, and I'll just go through everything and be like, where are these markets and how are they operating? Like, this is a market I wouldn't follow, right? Because, it's showing insane strength. So like, why would I short something like this, right? When this is doing this, why would I short something like this? This is showing that money just keeps coming in, right? So like, I know that when NASDAQ starts to correct, if it ever does, right? If the NASDAQ ever starts to correct or starts going up, like, and this goes sideways and makes like an accumulation MB, right? Or something, this is going to be like an insane trade. Because this thing is shown like insane strength or at some level, right? So I'll just have like stuff here labeled. Like, I wouldn't want to follow any of these short, right? Insane strength. Keep an eye on this, but nothing happened. Yeah, so like, I'll go through and I'll put some of the main ones that are like super clear, at least to me, into a list, and then just follow them. That's it, right? And if I don't take anything, then I'll just case study these and get a little bit better at understanding what actually happened. So I'm ready for the next time. That's it. That's all I have to do. David said, I started backtesting a 5-minute EVC, but I don't have access to the seconds time frame on my 17 euro TV subscription. Back in the past, I backtested and forward tested a lot, the same EVC as yours. I got used to the E micro for BE rules, but now I can't go lower than 1 minute. Can you please give me some BE rules ideas so I can test them? Stage 2 move away from entry, or a move above the entry in a clear candle or something, or a takeout of a high of a candle above the entry. Anything like that. Or a set RR, anything like that. Ment, you know what you should add to the portal that may help a lot of beginner traders? It was part of the old content. Understanding how to read models, going from distribution to redistribution or accumulation to reaccumulation when it flips. I don't know, because I don't use those models the same way anymore. This is the model by which I'm actually approaching markets, right? And the models that I'm using to decide if I'm actually going to label something or follow something is more so based in the case studies of how the moves have happened, right? Like, one-sided move goes into accumulation. That's what I want to watch, right? Because we have clear one-sidedness in terms of the movement of this action, right? And then I want to follow it because of that. So I don't think putting that there would actually be smart. Felicia says, Ment, how can I have the exact same price action as with TradingView, or is it not possible? Because sometimes I get stopped out earlier, and I once heard about a rogue SL. What are all the advantages of this? So why should we use it? Well, I don't really use that, so that's fine. How can I have the exact same price action? You can either analyze in TradingView and then trade off of the broker you're actually trading with. You can trade assets that don't have differences in pricing, like futures a lot of the time, potentially, I think, or like stocks. They don't have differences from TradingView to the actual exchange because they're literally the same thing. But yeah, that's really it. That's how it works. And then a rogue SL is just simply having a stop, but not having it on there, right? And then just closing when price gets to that price. But I almost always set a stop now because I'm on a higher time frame anyway, so I don't have to worry about like spreads and stuff. Caleb says, mentor the funded members. Do you pay attention to relative strength in testing? And if yes, which phase? What phase? I mean, case study, data collection, back test, or forward testing. I mean, like, I just started paying attention to it over time, and I've learned a lot from it because I just started to see what works and what doesn't, which has improved my own like setups and stuff. But if you are paying attention to it, which I think is important because, you know, I'm always looking at everything, then you can start doing it in the case study phase. But the problem is when you start to add a lot of things like that, it can get harder a lot quicker, right? So you can do it kind of in any phase, but if it's not completely just throwing you overboard, then do it. Dorian says, on which chart would you collect the data for Forex, stocks, and futures? FX, CMO, Onda, NASDAQ. Well, NASDAQ is always NASDAQ. So New York Stock Exchange, this HIMS is always going to be HIMS, right? QQQ, it's on the NASDAQ. You can also do it on, like, yeah, I mean, like, you choose the charts. It doesn't matter. Why do people analyze things with different brokers? I wonder why. Because it might be more in line with what their broker that they're trading with shows. That's really it. Good morning, Mr. Ment. I did a case study of about 100 plus independent moves on stocks and also did a collection of 170 plus trade examples. I did this on all the stocks that you traded, was talking about using as much data as possible. Now I want to start a backtest, but I think that backtesting the action that I studied won't be really fair. But also finding other stocks that had good moves for 200 plus tested trades seems quite difficult. What do you recommend in this situation? Do exactly as the portal shows, brother. Be fair with yourself. The portal has made it very clear that you go back over some of the stuff that you've already case studied and you go left to right to figure out what would have also met the rules in terms of losses and stuff. Then you can find more things through the screener, just normal stocks, names, stuff over the last 3 months, 6 months. Well, we were going to add a 6 month and 12 month over some time to the screener too, so you have even more data to go back on, and you be fair with yourself. That's all you can do, right? Big Chief says, done with the portal and past Webbies, my perspective has changed greatly and positively that I already know the type of system I'll be testing from now on. That's so powerful, dude. I'm really happy to hear that. My backtesting so far, but yeah, discuss the forward testing and trade talk about being impatient. I'm not opening these because they're just white in terms of what I see, but that's fine. What's this? Arnold. Euro AUD. Wow. Wow. Yeah, you had an insane week. But I mean, this just goes to show it. It's the same thing on repeat, guys. Jetler says, what would your advice be if I had 5K saved for a long time? I come from a poor country called Kosovo, and I don't have many options in regards to brokers. What would your advice be? I can trade crypto, and also maybe I can find a broker that trades more than crypto and maybe stocks. Thank you. Have a system that works and that you can follow and trade your capital on the assets that you're able to trade. I mean, that's really all it comes down to, right? Like, that's the only advice I can give you. I would definitely not throw your money into the market, especially if that's all your savings, of course. I'd make sure you have a fully fledged out system that you have insane confidence with. And even then, I'd probably start with a much smaller account than what you actually have saved, because I want to make sure that you know what your profitability looks like. And then you have the choice to either get funded for more buying power and stuff, and as a result, you're able to trade different assets, right? That's one way to do it. Yeah, that's just really it. It's the exact same thing as anyone else would do, just based on where you are, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're the second poorest, the first poorest, or the poorest, the richest country. It doesn't matter, right? Everything becomes relative, and you have to act from where you are. You can't. No one's gonna like hand you a silver platter. No one's gonna just hand you a answer to all. You have to at a certain level recognize that you are in charge of how you're going to go about this, right? It's very important that you kind of recognize that. Hey man, doesn't it make more sense to add the currency of the account instead of setting it to default? Because for example, with the JPY pair, you only get charged a number of yen. To the account? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Vanessa, I'm sorry. Mohammed says, hello, Mr. Ment. I want to thank you very much. In the last week, I got 20R. In the first day, I got 10R. And the other days, I got 10R. So I want to thank you for everything. I only need 10R more to activate the account. That's all very, very good. I'm very happy for you. But do not lose sight of what you're doing, Because again, there are going to be very good weeks, exceptional deliveries, and you will catch exceptional deliveries, but there's also going to be very shitty weeks, very shitty deliveries, very bad context. And it's what you do when that does happen that's going to decide if you make money, right? But keep that up. It looks like you're doing very well, so keep it up. Oh my God, we're so fucking... How long have we been in here? Oh my God, it's a fucking college lecture. I think I'm almost at the bottom, so I'm gonna finish reading everything, but we're gonna then close up, I think. Yvonne says, question regarding my case study. I did collected 100 trades based on double MB on the past 2 days. Right now I'm looking at them and choose to diving them by type or tier. My question is, which one do I choose? The best one, the one I like the most, type 1 or 2? Do I simplify and go with the 1? Simplify and go with 1, always at the end of the day. Ask yourself, what are the similarities between that 1? And try to make it even simpler than that. And then go from there, for sure. Hey man, in the portal, is there a section where you put all the course together and you do a step-by-step analysis together? Where tell us the do and don't of your analysis. What do you mean by this? The portal is where everything is together. The webinars and the actual trading and showing up to the market is the act of actually doing it. Right? I'm doing this every single day. Here it is, right? Like, here's me putting together the exact information and trading it. Here is the breakdown of a trader or traders that traded this with the exact same info. Here's the markets that I'm watching on the short side with that same information, with the same cycles that I've been looking for. Here's a gold trade that I've broken down and taken based on the markup and the portal material that has been put together, right? Like, this is all here. I'm not going to do webinars in the portal because that doesn't make sense, but this is the application of it, right? Why do stocks follow the same direction of SP500 and NAS? Because NAS and SP500 contain pretty much all the main money that comes into the main stocks in the universe, and money flows into stocks or flows out of them. It's the US stock market. What data provider does Ment Funding use just to align it with TradingView when doing analysis? Well, you can just look at it and compare. It's an aggregate of many. Like, there's not like one broker where we're like, go to forex.com. It's like, just find something that looks similar and then trade in the thing, right? Dud says, hey Ment, I'm currently case studying. This is my third. I'm not sure if I could consider this a failure or not. I did as you told to in the hashtag beginners, but I'm still a bit confused. If it drops below the 20 EMA, does that necessarily mean a failure on E time frame? I'm almost sure this one is a failure, but are there any rules? Fails below the 20. If you're talking about entries, yeah, this is a flush. You have a stage 2. Well, you have a stage 2 here. This is a normal flush. Accumulation MB is probably somewhere here, just looking at this action, but maybe you're right about this being an accumulation MB. We shouldn't be labeling accumulation MB2. Rewatch the portal. This really should not be here. Flush. Okay, then there's nothing. Then it flushes again and creates a double MB. What's the problem here? This is fine. Why are we confusing ourselves? And why are we labeling all these here? That's not what we teach to label on the entry time frame. The entry time frame has its entry cycle. The labels should be stage 1, stage 2, flush, accumulation buildup, stage 2, flush, accumulation buildup, MB1, MB2, floating supply, E micro entries through this and probably through here, stage 2 delivery. It seems like you have not watched the portal material in its entirety or taken the exact steps of the portal material, right? That's going to create more uncertainty and confusion. You must work through it, take notes on it, understand the difference between a momentum cycle label and the entry cycle label, EVC, and start to do that through your case studies. Because, like, of course, it's going to confuse you a little bit because you're trying to label everything into one, right? Is this a failure? It's not a failure. I don't teach failure, right? This is a flush. You get stage 2 moves, and then you'll get a flush to or below basically the 20 EMA. That's what I use as my flush kind of rules. Oftentimes I need to see a flush at least 2 or below the 20. That meets that rule. Your entry could have been through this high here, but then price just takes off, right? So there's nothing here. It's just gaps. There's nothing to trade here. And then it makes this, but at that point, it's beyond the floating supply. So maybe you don't even trade this and you wait. And then it flushes again. That flush is a flush to or below the 20. Then it kind of goes sideways maybe, and then it builds a double MB here. Again, you're meant to be confused in the beginning, but also you have to make sure that as you're getting confused, you're using the actual material perfectly step by step, right? Or you're going to get even more confused. Got to run for dinner with the fam. Thanks for a great webby. I'll see you, Brico. Thank you so much for being here. Jamonva says, bluefish tuna in cold waters plus your mom's pancakes. Amazing webinar. Maki says, gold for me. Seeing you changing your overall perspective of the market over the last weeks from bullish to sitting out to bearish now. Now, again, putting together in a golden webinar, this one was really gold for me. I'm so happy to hear that. But that's exactly what the point of the webinars is, right? It's to show you firsthand how everything in the portal, the exact steps, the exact stages, the exact labels of both cycles, all put into one, are actually used, right? So the guy that asked, like, where's it all in one? This is the all in one. You're seeing it firsthand, right? There's not like a, what else is there to the putting it together, right? This is the putting it together phase. Gotta go. Thanks, everyone. Anton, you're the goat. I'll see you quick, inning. Thanks so much for being here, man. Vanessa says, sorry, it was on my cell phone, but couldn't send a photo. But what I mean by account currency is with the long and short tool. No, because you're trading in US dollars. If your account is denoted in USD, then you're still trading the lot size based on the USD, I'm pretty sure. So, Webby is great as usual. Have a nice day. Thank you so much, man. Probably the best webinar I've seen. I appreciate you, Ross. Thank you, Sear. Thank you, Philip. And on that note, we come to an end. Thank you all very much.